I
Yeah,
love
no.
this. I love this tweet that you shared to your page. It was written by another guy who I love, and I love his content, and I'm constantly retweeting his stuff myself. Clifton Duncan, I think it perfectly exemplifies the position that Democrats are in, and I feel like this conversation comes up every 4 years, but it
Mhm,
seems a little bit different this year. So there, this
I
is
agree.
Clifton's tweet. I hope Kamala loses, not because I'm Gaga for Trump or because of misogyny. I guess maybe he's trying to say misogyny, or maybe this is like a word that I'm too dumb for, or because of her past or proposed policies. I want her to lose and lose badly because on her behalf, an entire political regime has unleashed a level of vitriol against black men that I have never seen before. um, that at the Democrats and the polls, pundits and celebrities prostituting themselves for them are so comfortable openly disrespecting black men show such a deep disdain that it borders on evil. Black men are killing and dying in cities controlled by Democrats. Black boys are graduating with non educations from public schools controlled by Democrats. Black men are experiencing economic hardship thanks to policies favored by Democrats. But worst of all, black men are currently experiencing the most venomous vitriol I've ever seen from black women who are now being weaponized against them by Democrats. Black communities already suffer
Do you
from
agree
disunity
that
and
black men who are not
dysfunction.
voting for Harris?
I'm gonna pause this. From disunity and dysfunction. And here is copycat Kamala's party utilizing and exacerbating the problem for cynical politics. Not since Jim Crow have Democrats been so obviously keen on destroying Black America, but at least in the past, the destruction was done with no pretense of benevolence. Today, it's insidious, done under the guise of fighting fascism or saving democracy or destroying white supremacy. Despicable. So I hope the Harris campaign continues its strategy of shaming black men. I hope they keep trotting out twerking, tap dancing goons, I mean celebrities, to keep condescending to me. I hope Barack Obama keeps running his effing mouth. All it's going to do is radicalize more black men into rejecting this bullshit. Then we'll see what black liberation truly means. Whoo! What do you think of all that, Adam?
I 100% agree. I actually tweeted something out that got some traction. Not as much traction as that, but it got some traction because I see the same thing that he's saying. I said basically actually the tweet was black men are about 6% of the US population, and they're about to get 100% of the blame if Kamala Harris loses.
Oh,
And the reason I say that is because I'm also with him. I've been paying attention to politics for years now. I'm 40. I've been paying attention to politics since like my mid 20s, maybe early 20s, like solidly paying attention to it. Um, and I've never seen this. I've never seen this strategy of isolating a demographic of people who are iffy on you, and you say there's something wrong with them rather than there's something wrong with what we're doing that's not reaching them. And it's not just one person. See, if it was just Barack Obama, then I could just be like, that's Barack Obama. And then no one else. But it started with Barack Obama, or maybe I'm giving him too much credit where it started with him, but it became very overt. He made it very clear. I am talking to the brothers. He made it very clear who he was talking to. Then from there, it just became this wave of people and campaign ads and response from the Harris campaign uh, with this plan for black men, which if you look at the plan for black men, half the stuff is not specific for black men. It's this will benefit black men and others, right? So it's not even it's not even a specific thing for black men. And then the other stuff will help you with crypto and weed.
hmm.
That's the plan for black men. And I would juxtapose their plan for Latinos, looks nothing like that, by the way.
Hmm.
So Then there's that. Then you see the response to that plan coming out, and you see certain Black female pundits go on television and say, hey, listen, they responded. They gave you something. Take it. Run with it. That's great. And it's like, no, this is the most half-hearted, half-assed plan for Black men I've ever seen in my life. Let's say if I even gave a shit about a plan for Black men, which I don't. If I did care, this would be incredibly insulting. If I was actually looking for something specific for Black men, I would be like, what is this? This is bullshit. This is nothing, right? It's peanuts. Some of this stuff is like, we will encourage, we will support. That doesn't mean anything. There's no action behind encourage and support. I encourage people to live a healthy lifestyle. What does that mean? It doesn't mean anything. What do you like? That is just fluff.
She's gonna go with you to the grocery store and take out items that are not healthy. Yeah.
Right. Like it's just because I write, I focus on words that people use, and I focus on the words they select and the words that they don't select. And when you use words like encourage and support, those are not action words. They're really not, because encourage could be invisible. Like, how do I know, Chrissie, you may be encouraging me, and I have no idea that you're encouraging me. I have no idea, because it's not an actionable thing.
Encouraging
I
thoughts.
will pass. Right. And yes, you're sending me encouraging thoughts. Exactly. I will pass legislation. That's actionable.
Yes.
Right. But they don't give you action. They give you feel good bullshit. And so this is.
Yeah. Look at this. Number 2, championing education. What is championing? What does that amount to?
What does that mean?
Championing education. You can't measure championing. Same thing. Supporting a regulatory framework for cryptocurrency and other digital assets, so Black men who invest in and own these assets are protecting. How do you measure the support?
Exactly.
Oh, and you know how Kamala's going to help you, Adam? By legalizing marijuana. That's
right. Which, by the way, I would imagine, since it's listed as a class A. I forgot the classes, but it's listed as a narcotic. It's illegal. It's illegal federally. So what she's telling us is that she's going to use her political might to fight for legislation to go through to legalize marijuana. Do I believe that? Do I believe that she'll use her political capital, as difficult as it is to pass anything through the House and the Senate? She's going to fight for Black men, right, to pass marijuana legalization, even if I cared about that. But do I really believe that? No, I don't believe that whatsoever. But even more so, not every Black person is in the weed market.
Right. That's how it sounds. That is how this sounds. Like, you're a Black guy, so you're obviously smoking or selling. It just didn't occur to me that was, but what do I know? I'm not a Black guy. When I read that, I was like, oh, that makes it sound like that's what they all do.
Why not go all in? We'll make sure that crack is legal to help Black men out. Like, just go all in with the racist
Does
bullshit.
Everyone get a bottle of Hennessy, go to the polls?
Right. Of course. Right. This is Colt 45 to federally funded Colt 45 for Black men and some Black and Milds.
Strawberry sodas all around.
Free grape drink.
Free grape drink at the polls. Oh no.
Not even soda, grape drink. Like, this is what they offer. And then when people say, what the fuck is this? They get more shaming. They get people who talk down to them. They get bullshit after bullshit. After this, one of their campaign marketing, whatever, I don't know his particular status, You know that dating thing that is called Pop the Balloon?
Yes.
Or
Yes.
I forgot
Yes.
the exact title. The pop. So they did a spoof of Pop the Balloon, right?
Mhm.
But it was for the Harris campaign, and
Oh my
it was the same format. The guy says, he's answering a question. The woman's asking, "How tall are you?" "I'm 6'5". "How much money do you make?" "Over six figures." "Are you registered to vote?" No, I'm not into that." And then they all pop the balloon. But it sounds like, oh, it's tongue in cheek. But the problem is that ad is not for men. That's a shaming ad.
Mm.
That is an ad for the misandrous. That is an ad for the people who say, "Oh, look at these stupid black men who just won't get on board." That's who the ad's for. That ad isn't for me. That ad's not for the independent black man who's not sure if he wants to support Kamala or stay at home or vote for Trump. That's not who it's for. The ad is for the person who wants to affirm the mockery of black men. And I see something absolutely immoral about this, stupid from a political standpoint as to why would you do that with any demographic. By the way, it's not just that I'm a black male that I'm reacting this particular way. If they were doing this to Hispanic men, I would notice this and I'd be like, whoa, what is that? It's very obvious what they're doing. And so that's why I say I see the game plan. The game plan is to set up black men as the scapegoat. When Stacey Abrams failed to win her election in Georgia, they blamed black men for her failure in Georgia. And you know what Stacey Abrams has done? She, in that very tweet that Clifton was showing, that video that was playing, she's blaming black men.
Here it
She's
is.
criticizing black men.
Yeah, let's hear a little bit of that for context. Hold on.
Do you agree that black men who are not voting for Harris and who didn't vote for you, as the pastor sees it, are misogynist? As he said, misogyny is still real in our community.
I would say, number one, I know it's a shock to everyone, but sexism remains real.
So
And a very
condescending off
pertinent
the
issue.
bat.
But I want us to be really clear that Kamala Harris is doing very well with black men. Black men are the second strongest cohort of Democratic voters. What we're seeing, though, is that she is showing them due respect by actually speaking to their issues. And those issues differ from other cohorts. I'm not quite certain why there is this panic about black men voting. They vote. In fact, they vote more than their counterparts in any other community for Democrats. However, we do have to acknowledge that there is sexism, there is racism, there are challenges in our electorate. And that's why it's so important that Kamala Harris is going everywhere and talking to everyone. She respects voters, she meets them where they are, and she refuses to be told that she has lost a cohort, lost a community, simply because she's different. The best candidates recognize that you win by meeting people where they are, and Kamala Harris is doing that every single day, and we'll keep doing it for the next 14 days until we get to election day.
There's so many people coming out campaigning for Harris.
Can I give a analogy of what she just did? Stacey Abrams, what she just did was a football analogy. She's got the ball. She's on her way to the end zone. No one is even near her. And she fumbles it on the 5-yard line. She just said it. People are panicking over this. They're a cohort that has specific issues. But then she brings it back and fumbles it by saying, but there is sexism in our community. But that's not the reason why she's losing. That's not the reason why people are freaking out. That's not the reason why, if you're telling me that there's going to be a 5-point swing, which that's a whole other thing. We're talking about potentially 5%, 10% difference from 2020 to 2024. This is what we're hypothetically talking about. Then are we saying that 5 to 10% swing is half misogynist, all misogynist? Like what are we talking about here? Why would we focus on this hypothetical misogynist that exists, which, mind you, I haven't seen any prominent Black men go on television and say, I can't support a woman. I haven't seen that. So it'd be different if it was like in response to a popular Black male pundit who was saying this. And then they're like,
Right.
see, look, there's a problem in our community. Then they might have a point, maybe. But that's not what they're responding to. They're responding to polls. And they're not asking why this is the case. They're not caring. They've defaulted into this. And Barack Obama sounded like a fucking male feminist, defaulted to what, you don't respect women in our community? You know, and then this man chastised Black men, wagged his finger as our millionaire president goes back to Martha's Vineyard feeling like he accomplished something. None of these people, it's become very, very clear, none of these people within the Democratic Party give a damn about Black men. Honestly, they really don't give a shit about Black people. If I'm just being 100 with you, they don't care. Because if they cared, they would ask, what do you need? They would, local levels. You can't tell me that you care when these areas, you go out, if you have actual reporters, go out and talk to people within cities like Philadelphia, within cities like Baltimore, Detroit, and you ask the average person, how are things going? They'll tell you what the problems are. And they'll tell you, we voted for your party. Matter of fact, there's no other party that's here, which is a different problem. But it's all Democrats who are here. And guess what? It's been the same problem for decades. Where you been at? And when you ask that question, how come nothing has changed? And if nothing's going to change, why the fuck should I support you? Well, sister, brother, get on the train. You know your place. Do your thing.
Ugh.
This is the condescending bullshit from the Democratic Party that I personally cannot stand. It is the party of elitists. Years ago, you might have made that argument that the Republican Party is full of these country club, blah, blah, blah. Trump enters the mix. You know where they all go? To the Democratic Party. They all go over there. You know who's endorsing Kamala Harris? The Cheneys. You know who's like this? These are the people, the Bill Kristols of the world. They're supporting Kamala Harris. These are the same warmongers. These are the same people who are all for NAFTA, sending everyone's jobs overseas. These are the people. And they think that the working class Black man is not affected by this when they see their neighborhoods filled up with immigrants who didn't come here legally, but they get all these benefits. They turn their playgrounds into encampments. Everybody's getting stuff, everyone, but they can't get a sufficient amount of police officers to protect them. Forget welfare, forget all that stuff. Most people don't want that. They just want to feel safe in their neighborhood, but they don't get that. They get, well, you should be happy that we acknowledge you. You should be happy that we gave you a shout out. That's what they get. They get absolute bullshit. And you know what happens when you call this out? You get called a coon, not the celebrity that shows up on television saying, get in line, Black boy. You ask too many questions. Now let me go back to my LA mansion. Like this is the bullshit that constantly happens. It's why they lost me. I am done with the Democratic Party for quite some time because it is littered with elitists. I am absolutely fucking done with these people. And I am voting for Trump. I don't love Trump, but I am voting for him.
Right.
Because fuck the Democrats right about now. Like they solidified, I was like, I might stay home, but I'm like, no, fuck the Democrats right now. I'm voting for Trump. If anyone's going to stop what's happening at the border, between the two, who do I believe more? The person that's been in office who dragged her feet for the past 4 years and then suddenly cares about it when she's the one who's running for president after the DNC knocked out this old man and gave no one who's part of the Democratic Party all the voters who went to the polls to vote for Biden during the primaries, and now he doesn't get it. Now They didn't choose her. The DNC chose her. And so you're just supposed to swallow that too, by the way, as a Democrat, just swallow it because we got to defeat the orange man. All of this is a fucking game.
Yeah. And by the way,
Sorry,
they're saving democracy by not giving you a chance to vote on a new candidate because Trump is a fascist.
Yeah.
Yeah. It seems like the Democratic Party every 4 years, it seems they have the same talking points. They pay the same lip service to the Black community, or namely Black men. What is it so different about this time that is making more Black men wake up?
Because it's so overt, you cannot ignore it. See, it's one thing to be like, hey, you voted for these people, you're not getting much from it. And you're like, yeah, I guess, yeah. But when they see you just asking some questions, every voter is allowed to ask questions. You're talking about giving someone so much power, and we're supposed to vet them. We get one vote for president. Each of us get one vote. We're allowed to ask questions before we take our single vote. This is what people don't grasp. We have one form of power as a voter. It's just one vote. And so we're supposed to take that single vote and just take it for granted. We're not supposed to ask any sort of questions. It is the most asinine thing that I've ever seen, where they take people who are asking questions of voters. The whole goal of politics is to convince someone, even if you use fear, you're trying to convince them that this fear is legitimate, so vote for me. But you're supposed to convince them, give them something, tell them why. And they're so overt that they just wag their finger at Black men. It is the weirdest, most condescending, elitist behavior I've ever seen within politics. Before I can read between the lines, it was elitist behavior, it was condescending bullshit. But this is so overt that what's been happening, the area where she's weak, their campaign is so bad and so disconnected from the average American, including Black Americans, that they cannot see how elitist that they are, how disconnected from the average person that they are.
Yeah, they're like, but we're gonna legalize weed. Come on, guys. I love this comment from Erica here. It's weird to see how they pandered to the whole white dudes for Harris thing versus shaming Black men for not falling in line. It's like it's different, methods of propaganda, I guess, that they're using.
And what's fascinating for me looking at this is how, all right, actually a perfect example, Sunny Hostin, or however you say her name, from The View. There's a clip that was circulating. She's saying how we need to reach these people, right? She's saying we as Democrats. She's like, we need to reach these people. She's like, we need to reach the 50% of women, I think she said white women. Yeah, 50% of white women who are voting for Trump. We need to reach these Latino men who are voting for Trump. We need to reach these ridiculous, crazy Black men who are voting for Trump.
No way.
I'm like, where the fuck did that come from? Like, that's what I'm talking about. She said this on ABC, daytime television.
Like, how dare you have a difference in opinion?
And this is what I'm talking about. This is the vitriol. And so what people are not understanding, it's not just the Black man is hesitant, right? It is the annoyance. Black men are annoying. And even if you do vote for Kamala Harris, you're supposed to do that. You're not supposed to get praised for doing the thing you're supposed to do. Just go out there and vote.
Where's the respect? Where's the reverence? Where's the, are you getting your needs met? Are you being heard?
Zero. And it's to some credit. What's her name? Shoot. Nina, was it? Oh, I feel bad.
Whoopi
she's a
Goldberg.
progressive, and I
Oh.
generally do not. No, no, man. She's big on
The
Twitter.
chat knows.
She's
Describe them.
she's from Ohio. She was a politician from Ohio for a little bit. I think she was a congresswoman. I think it's Nina. Nina's coming to
Simone?
my head.
No,
Not Nina
she's a
Simone.
singer.
She wears those glasses. She's a progressive. I think she promoted Bernie
Nina
when
Turner?
he was first running.
Is it Nina Turner?
Is it Nina Turner?
I'm Googling it. It's bringing up articles about La Nina. That's not what I wanted.
I could be wrong about
Okay.
Nina. I forgot. But she went on CNN and actually, yeah.
Is it Nina
that is
Parker?
funny. It may not even be Nina. I might be
Okay.
butchering this. I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on her name right now. But she went on and she's a progressive, and she says, guys, listen, Black men have their questions, and it is not fair to lay everything at the feet of Black men or to chastise them. Now, she was coming from a perspective of there is a history of going after Black men in this country. So she's coming from a different angle, but she understood and she saw the level of vitriol that was coming towards this, the Black men who were mysteriously misogynistic and all this other stuff. But she understood there's hesitancy for a reason. You need to reach out to them, ask them why they're hesitant, understand what's going on. Maybe it's something you're doing, because it is something that the Democrats are doing or not doing. But her and maybe one other person that I can't think of off the top of my head have publicly, and these are Black females, publicly said, this ain't good look. But let me tell you, there's been a lot of allowance
It's Nina Turner.
for this. There's a lot of Nina. Is it Nina Turner? Okay, I couldn't remember
trust Eli.
if that was her or
Thank
not.
you, Eli.
But yeah, so she went on CNN and said this, and Politics Girl was sitting across from her and had the stare of death from the white liberal woman, just like, what do you mean we can't ridicule Black men? Like, she had that look on her face. It was fucking hilarious.
I mean,
But
I don't even think there's anything wrong with being sexist. Sorry, like, what's wrong with that? I mean, that's one of the many reasons why I can't stand Kamala. It's like, I wouldn't want someone like her running my household. I wouldn't want someone like her as even a girlfriend. I'm sorry, she can't hold her own. She's not respectable. She's not. I mean, you imagine her dealing with like Putin, dealing with like Kim Jong, whoever's in charge of North Korea. Like, I don't see anybody taking her seriously. She's shrill. She uses cackling as a method of changing the conversation. She doesn't command respect. She talks in circles. And the Brett Baer interview really was so fascinating to me because it really showed her. Anytime you see her speaking in a long format, like anything long form, basically anything other than just sound bites, you go, oh wow, she really dances around the subject. She really doesn't hold to the questions. She doesn't really answer anything. She just like says a bunch of things that kind of sound smart and sound like she's answering. And then if you correct her, like Brett tried to and was like, well, actually, can you answer this? She goes, no, I'm speaking. Let me be very clear. She'll keep saying, let me be clear, but then not say anything. And
right.
So is it sexist to not want someone like that in charge of my country? No. And yeah, she's a woman. Sorry, call me. Sorry, I guess I'm sexist then. Big deal. What would you rather? I'd rather be a sexist and not have roast beef be $18 a pound. I guess I'd rather be sexist and, not letting in like millions of illegals getting a bunch of free shit. And it's just there's so many reasons. Like, what's wrong with being a sexist? Sorry. Of all the insults you could be in 2024, it's like, let's embrace it. What's so wrong with being sexist, I guess?
Well, for me, and I'm speaking passionately because I think there is something immoral that is happening. I'm not personalizing. I made my choice. Like, I don't care if people like my choice or not. I made my choice. I'm comfortable with my choice. If you want to vote for Kamala, vote for Kamala. I really don't care who people vote for, because my mindset, and I'm motivated by completely different things than other people. They have whatever they see is what they see, and that's what they want. Vote for whatever you want. I'm a free speech oriented person, and I'm a free vote person. Vote for whoever you want, for whatever reason that you want. I just think that it is dumb. It is a dumb political strategy when the name of the game is to get as many votes as possible. Why would you target and insult a group of undecided voters? Why would you do that? And the only reason that I could come up with as to why you would target and insult a demographic, a very small, specific demographic of people, is because you just don't like them and don't care for them. You take them for granted. They're supposed to vote Democrat, not that we hope that they continue voting Democrat. It's a completely different mindset. It's an entitlement issue that we're dealing with. And mind you, that conversation that we're talking about here on CNN, that clip that you showed Stacey Abrams, once again, we're talking about, hypothetically, a 5% difference. 5%. The way that they're responding to 5% is like half of Black men or half of Black people are voting for Trump.
Wow.
That is the way that they're framing it.
Wow.
That is how much they're freaking out about it.
And I wouldn't have known that they were freaking out so much
the
until they started saying, like, I'm like, oh, I guess you're showing your cards. I guess you guys really are panicking. I didn't know it was a thing.
Yeah, very much so. If Barack Obama took it upon himself to stand in front of a bunch of Black men, to wag his finger at Black men, and even said some dumb shit like, you're lucky that Michelle's not here. Who are you?
What is Big Mike going to do? Pull out her dick and scare everyone at the polls? Big Mike, show your poll.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's not going to do anything. Wow. So out of touch.
But that's, you said it before. It's the disrespect. And I've just never seen any sort of, especially for a presidential election, I've never seen the outright disrespect, especially for a small group of people. The next closest thing I can think of is when Hillary Clinton called people deplorables.
Oh, yeah.
Which was a huge mistake, right? That is a terrible strategy.
They took it as a badge of honor.
After voters.
And now it's like a colloquial kind of bad. Yeah, it's like they call we call ourselves deplorables.
Right. You don't do that because you alienate voters. And then the people who are undecided see how you treat them and they're like, you know what? F these people. Like, that's what they really think. When you let people talk long enough, they show you who they are. Like, you just have to pay attention to what they're saying and why they're saying it. And it's become very clear. I pay very close attention to what people say, and I pay attention to what they're not saying. The differences between how they treat people. It is very clear what's about to happen. If Kamala Harris loses, they're about to blame me. I'm part of the 6% demographic. They're about to blame these crazy Black people, as Sonny puts it, these crazy, ridiculous Black men. They're about to blame us for their failures. That's what they're about to do. I even tweeted this. I can see it. The Atlantic, the Washington Post, the surge of white supremacy amongst Black men. Like, that's what they're about to do. They're about to make us the scapegoat for the Democrat Party's failure. They're about to make us the scapegoat for the DNC saying, we'll just swap out this corpse of a man called Joe Biden and put in this clueless woman who was a terrible candidate 4 years ago. And, well, you know what? It's their fault.